Get ready for the most epic game of chicken fight that you have ever seen. All that and more in this week's episode of My Hero Academia. That's right, the second round of the UA Sports Festival is underway. And the second round is going to be a cavalry battle, which is actually something that I've seen in a number of other anime series, and is very similar to what we know in America as the chicken fight, where you basically hold someone up on your shoulders and you have to go after the other person with the headband they're wearing and steal it away from them to get points. And because Izuku Midoriya has the most points, everybody is going to be gunning for his mossy green head. What I think I loved most about this episode, though, is how it was equal parts strategy and equal parts kick-ass superhero fun. That and the fact that it managed to break convention by getting to see a lot of really interesting team-ups. I originally believed that it was going to be Izuku, Ochako, and Tenya who were going to be working on a team together, and while Ochako does decide to work along with Izuku, Tenya decides to go against the grain. For me, this was one of the most shocking parts of the episode, and something that I knew that was definitely going to bring a lot of drama to this one, especially at the very end of this week's episode. Tenya's rationale behind this is that while he is friends with Izuku, he does need to sort of break out on his own and make himself known to all of these crowds and all of these agencies. And of course, he is an opportunist and he's going to be working together with his very own team. And again, like I said, I think that's one of the most fun things about this episode, is just getting to see all of the greatest combinations that you could possibly think of between these characters. Some of them are generally kind of shocking, like there is, of course, Minoru teaming up with Tsuyu, as well as that big multi-armed guy who looks like a friggin' ninja. What's really clever about that is the fact that he's able to cover up both Tsuyu and Minoru, so they're not going to be able to see them attacking with their tongue and sticky ball abilities. And when you say that out loud and in succession with both of them together, yes, that does sound pretty damn weird. As I said, of course, Izuku is going to be teaming up with Ochako, who is basically his love interest of the series. That's the way that I see it. And they're also going to be teaming up, surprisingly, with Mei Hatsume, the chick who is completely obsessed with all of her tech gear. And she wants to team up with Izuku because it'll be the perfect opportunity for everyone to pay attention to her and all of her babies, as she puts them. What's most interesting is that Izuku actually gets along with her really well. A lot of that having to do with the fact that a lot of the things that she creates are very similar to a lot of the classic heroes that Izuku has been following so closely. And of course you can get a little bit of tension between Ochako and Mei because she's a little bit jealous. But they still need one more team member, and this to me was the biggest surprise of the episode. It's going to be Fumikage, the guy with the crow head who controls the evil dark spirit within his body. And man, is he freaking awesome in this episode. It's really silly when you see the way that they're actually carrying him around, but it looks really cool with him sort of acting as the horse, as they call it, with that massive shadow coming out from his chest. And it has some pretty unique abilities as well as being able to deflect a lot of big attacks. But as soon as this round begins, everybody just starts going for Izuku, and they start bringing the heat as well. And they're allowed to use their quirks, and this is essentially an excuse to see a lot of new characters in action, as well as getting to see some other rivalries which are getting ready to begin. We get to see that one of the lower level classes actually starts to attack this one dude who, like I said, looks kind of like a skull-faced, smaller version of Eren Yeager in Titan form from Attack on Titan. Actually has the ability to transform the ground into like quicksand or like mud, and you start to sink into it. But thanks to Mei's abilities, they are able to explode out with her rocket boots. Not to mention Ochako has made them all a lot lighter, so they're able to move around the battlefield. And their overall strategy is basically just to run like hell. Don't get caught, don't lose any points, just run the entire time. But that's going to be really difficult when everyone is going to be going after you, and there's a lot of thrilling sequences here. I especially love the one when they're flying through the air and Katsuki Bakugo is just exploding, flying towards them, doing everything he can to actually take all of their points away, but luckily Fumikage is there and he's actually able to deflect one of his big explosive attacks. I also love that some of the side characters that we don't really get to see too much of are actually being kind of a threat in this episode. There are these one guys who are really big strategists who managed to actually take away Katsuki Bakugo's headband, and Frankly, this just absolutely pisses him off, and he decides, we're not going after Izuku anymore, we're going after this guy, and I'm gonna blow his ass up. Katsuki Bakugo's attitude, to me, is one of the funniest parts of the series. It's one of those personalities that fits perfectly with his actual quirk. I mean, it's definitely a play on the fact that he has a really short fuse and he explodes with anger all the time, but it always manages to be really damn funny. And speaking of Katsuki Bakugo, I love the team that he goes with, and I like that he's sort of starting a little bit of a bromance with Eijiro, who has the power of hardening. And I love that he actually points out that they basically have almost the same identical haircut when Katsuki calls him out on having spiky hair. I just thought that was a funny moment. But while you're watching this one, you're going to be constantly wondering, where is Shoto Todoroki? When is he going to appear? And he does at the very end of the episode when he confronts Team Izuku Midoriya. And to make matters worse, Tenya is going to be the horse for their team. This is the moment where you can cut the tension with a knife. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of My Hero Academia? While it did take a long time for this week's episode to start, like a little over halfway before the actual event took place, I really did like all of the strategy that we got to see in the beginning of the episode, and getting to see this wasn't going to be as simple as just teaming up with a group of friends. You're really going to have to take advantage of everybody's individual quirks and abilities, and seeing those combined together really made this one hell of a dynamic episode. That and the fact that there's just so many ridiculous things going on screen, both funny and action-packed all at the same time. The fact that Tenya didn't decide to want to join Izuku's group, though, is really, I think, one of the most surprising elements, and him just sort of joining with Shoto Todoroki is just sort of like pouring salt on the wound, and it gets me really excited to see next week's episode. And the fact that Fumikage actually decides to go along with Izuku speaks to how brave he is, because everybody's going to be gunning for him, but I've been saying this since the beginning of the series, that after seeing his powers and his cool personality, that I just can't help but like the character. He's just so damn badass. Even his voice, it doesn't seem like it fits like a frigging high schooler at all, or even a middle schooler, considering how young that these students are. He's just such a really cool character, and I can't wait to learn a little bit more about the relationship between him and his very unique quirk, which is unlike a lot of the other ones that we've actually seen from the series. There's a lot of things to get attached to in this episode. I know a lot of people are going to start choosing their favorite characters from this one, and it makes me want to see more events like this with the characters actually teaming up with one another. I think it's a really great dynamic overall. That and the fact that we also get some more better looks at Shoto's father, Endeavor, in this week's episode. And man, this guy looks friggin' awesome! I love his design with this like living fiery mask that he wears. It's either a mask or it is the fire that he is able to manifest. And it's made pretty clear that Shoto has a lot of issues with his father, probably, you know, just daddy issues, living up to all of this greatness. And that's probably another reason why he chooses not to use fire, so he doesn't want to be compared to his father so much. That's why he relies so heavily on his ice, aside from the fact that he can't control the power of the fire and it burns him up. I don't know, it's really damn weird. What is not weird is this week's episode of My Hero Academia. It was freaking awesome, and it had some great production value behind it, and so many amazing, colorful characters to get behind, and it's frankly just a super fun event. I can't wait to see how it's going to conclude, because even though Izuku won the first round, is he going to be able to escape from the second one alive with enough points to survive and go on to the next rounds? We'll just have to find out. So, check out this week's episode, guys. It was freaking fantastic. I loved it. There were a lot of really great, funny moments, and I just am falling in love with these characters every single week. Every single one of them is interesting, and that's a really big accomplishment. Sometimes these side characters can get really annoying in a lot of other anime series that I watch, but I really just want to spend time with all of them, and I hope that they all get enough development. And hopefully that's what this arc is going to be bringing to the table. So far, it's blowing away my expectations. It is going a little slow, but honestly, I'm okay with it. Every episode manages to deliver something unique and interesting that gets me excited for the next episode. And plus, this is going to be a longer season, so let's just kick back, relax, put our feet up, and enjoy some more superhero goodness. I'm giving this week's episode a solid 5 out of 5. Check it out, guys! If any of you did watch this week's episode of My Hero Academia, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. What did you think of the teams and the Cavalry battle? What sort of combinations would you come up with all of these characters and their very own distinctive quirks? If you were participating in a match like this, what sort of powers would you like to have? And who's going to win the second round of the UA Sports Festival. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for all things My Hero Academia anime related. Make sure to also leave me a comment about this episode. I'd love to talk with you guys about it. And of course, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. I will see you guys next time. And as always, stay dandy, baby.